The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Journey Radio Show. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and hey, we're showing up as the SheSquatchers, as we do every Wednesday night. I've got my trusty teammate with me, Tammy Trickle. Hey, Tammy.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. And we have just spent 11 days out and about. Well, I have spent 11 days out and about traveling to the state of Virginia, to Tammy's place. We went squatching in North Carolina. We went. I mean, we had all kinds of adventures. We did the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot conference, and then Jenna and I went back with Tammy to her place in Virginia Beach, and we started our journey home on Tuesday. We missed our flight in Dallas, and so we had an extra adventure in Dallas and didn't get home until this afternoon. So that's why Jenna isn't here with us tonight. She said, "Enough of you, Jen." No, really, she said 11 days straight with me was not too much. So obviously I wasn't being annoying enough. But she decided she really needed a night off. So I said, that's fine. So tonight we have a really, really awesome guest that we met at the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference. His name is Dave Spinks. And I got to tell you, he's pretty awesome. I got to see his presentation, and it is impressive. He served in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years and then went on to work as a federal law enforcement officer, and he retired in 2011. He has been featured on quite a few TV shows. I'll just name a few. Expedition X, Terror in the Woods, Paranormal 911, The Unexplained, In Search of Monsters, and These Woods Are Haunted. So he's also an author. He's got books. He's exciting. Let's get him on the show. Hey, everybody. This is Dave Spinks. Hey, Dave, are you there?
Hey, guys. Yes, I'm here.
Well, it feels like forever since I've seen you. Not really.
I hear you. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We're excited you were free to come and join us tonight. I was hoping when I do my scheduling, I'm like, well, we're going to an event. I know I'm going to meet some awesome people. I want to see who wants to come on the show and do a little recap. How did the event go for you? I know by the time I got in to find you, because the first day was so busy, we didn't get to leave our booth. By the time I got to you, you didn't have any books left.
Yeah, I sold all my Bigfoot books the first day, which is, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I wish I would have had more, you know what I'm saying? But you never know how these things would go. Sometimes you sell out really quick, or sometimes it takes the whole weekend. So it was packed. It was a great event. I think Daniel and his crew did a phenomenal job overall, you know, and the venue was great. It was a good venue. It was packed. I mean, you can't ask for much more. And it really is great when you see all these fellow folks out there who either had an experience with what they think is a Bigfoot, or they support the whole Bigfoot phenomenon. I mean, it's huge now. I mean, you know, it's just growing every year. It seems like more and more people are interested, and most importantly, more and more people are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, and sharing experiences they may have been holding on to for 20, 30, 40 or more years, because it's more openly allowed now. You won't be shunned. You won't be ridiculed for sharing an experience you had way back when, you know, and I love that. And that's what I'm all about.
Oh, yes. I love hearing from people at these conferences. And when they say, this is something I haven't dared tell anybody ever before in my life, but this is what happened to me. I feel very special that they're choosing me to share that with. So, and I know that happens to all of us. So, I mean, wow, what an outlet for people to have that.
Well,
Share.
yeah, probably a big weight off of their chest too, because a lot of people have been holding that stuff in for years and years, but they never felt quite accepted enough, to share. They were just worried about being ridiculed. Because let's face it, wasn't that long ago. If you talked about an experience like that, you would have been shunned in your local community. People would have thought you were crazy or whatever the case. It could go so many different ways. But now, thanks to TV and more people coming out, more and more books being written, it's pop culture now, and it's great. It's a great thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I got to see your presentation. Our booth was positioned, so we were right opposite wall of the whole presentation setup. And I got to say, I'm so glad they brought in a big screen TV for you because we were the first ones to present, and they had the projector, and it just was not good for seeing what we had to offer on our presentation. So I was playing some of the videos at our booth on my laptop so people could come and see them if they had time and wanted to come and watch for a while to see what the details they had missed.
I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't even know that happened.
So, Tammy, I'm going to have you take over a little bit.
Yeah, they wouldn't give us one.
So I just left the live chat because my internet is lagging. So I just wanted to let you know that, Tammy, if you could tell them in the chat room that I had to leave because you guys are lagging behind for my view here. So hopefully that'll help boost my internet. So Dave, you showed a clip or part of the episode of These Woods Are Haunted during your presentation. And I was excited because your episode has been one of my favorites on that show. And so I was really excited to meet you. And just for the listeners who probably don't know what I'm talking about, could you give a little, tell the story a little bit about what happened to you as a boy with your grandpa?
Well, what got started me on all this, craziness, as we call the paranormal world genre in general, is I had a Bigfoot experience with my grandfather here in the woods of West Virginia way back when I was a kid, and it terrified me. It really did, and it changed my life, and in a lot of ways. And I've been kind of seeking and searching for answers to all things paranormal. It started with Bigfoot, and then it just kind of morphed into all these different genres over the years because I have seen different things in the sky and I have experienced strange paranormal phenomena as far as hauntings go as well. But Bigfoot's what started it all for me. And I wanted answers. And this thing, we had gone to one of our favorite fishing holes that we've gone to for years and years, and we were fishing. And the long and short of it is, without giving too much of the story away, this thing started throwing rocks at us, big rocks, boulder-sized rocks, like, probably big enough where a grown man could barely get his arms around, and started tearing the woods down over there on the other side of the river. And it felt like, when I look back on the whole situation, it felt more like it was kind of upset that we were there catching fish and we were kind of in its territory or something. But we've gone there so many times, year after year, never had anything like that happen. But it was just very bizarre, very unnerving, and it really opened my eyes as a young man to say, hey, some of these stories the old timers tell you, they're real. They're not some made up legend or something just to scare you as kids. They're telling you this stuff for real, and you don't really realize, the old timers talk about these things. And what fascinates me about Bigfoot is it goes back for tens of thousands of years in Native American culture. If you do any research on this phenomena, I mean, it's written all over cave walls. It's passed down by almost every single tribe has a Bigfoot type legend or oral history in it. And you have to really pay attention to that because that's very important. It's not something that happened in modern society. It just didn't start happening after the Patterson-Gimlin film. This has been going on for tens of thousands of years. And it's not just here in the United States, it's a worldwide phenomenon. And I liken Bigfoot to people, We have white people, black people, Native American, red people, yellow people. And that's what I like equate it to when it comes to Yeti and so many other species of Bigfoot that are reported around the world. So some are mean, some are docile, just like people. So some are a little more aggressive, some are docile, like I said. So, what these things are, I'm not going to be sitting here saying I know 100% it's this or that, because I don't. I know what I saw was a living, breathing creature that was massive. It was covered in hair, walked like a man. And, it literally changed my life in many different ways, like I said. My grandfather, he was a Baptist minister for 40 years. He stormed the beaches of Normandy. He was not scared of anything, and that scared him. Because, when I talk about it, they even put it in the show, they said, when he grabbed me and flung me into the truck, he said, "Son, that's not of God. We're getting out of here." So, that was very compelling to me as well. For him, I never saw him run or be scared of anything ever. So, this guy had been through the mill.
Well, that's really exciting. And, if for those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend going to see that.
And
Tammy, I need you to take over the conversation because my internet's lagging and I know I'm interrupting people because of that. So if you could just take over, that would be great. You're on mute.
That's a great start. Okay, so yeah, apparently Jen's internet is going in and out. So I thought your presentation was amazing. I thought that it was very interesting that they took artistic license with what they were showed to people as opposed to what actually happened. And you hear a lot about people saying that they didn't tell the story correctly, and that's not really the way it happened. And that's kind of disappointing. I mean, I understand they want to take some artistic license and make it more interesting or flow better together, but I don't know. I think it kind of takes away from the context of the story when they do that.
To me, it didn't need to be any more scarier because
right.
what do you add to that? But they moved a few things around that happened in order. They added a couple of things that didn't happen. That really upset me because my reputation's everything to me, and I'm honest with people about it. That's why I tell people, "Hey, remember that part?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "That never happened. If you want to know the real story, read the book."
Right.
That's unfortunately that's how Hollywood does things, and they do it with. Look at all the other movies out there and various things like Amityville and so many other ones. They take that license and they just run with it. And, it's a shame, but, they're good at what they do. But if I always tell folks, hey, if you want the real story, read the book, because that's where they found out about it anyway and wanted me to tell a story. So,
Right.
And, and I felt that I never talked about it because you guys heard in the presentation, I promised my grandpa I would not talk about it. And here he told the little funny side note was that he told my uncle like 25 or so odd years ago about it because he wanted someone else to know what happened to us that day. And when I found out after he died, he told my uncle, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, because I doing what I do, I've been on all these type of shows and they always ask me, well, what started you in this, And I never would tell the original story of what happened because I promised my grandpa. So when I decided to come out and tell it, I found out about that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So
he told first.
Yeah.
Well, you've been on several of the other shows as well. Did you have any different experiences that you wanted to share?
I've been doing this for well over 30 years, guys. So I've had all kinds of experiences. As far as cryptids go, never seen any other known cryptid or talked about cryptid. I have had some weird interactions in the woods on Bigfoot investigations and expeditions that I couldn't explain, but I never saw another one after that first time, after I saw what I saw. But I've talked to many, many credible people, that hundreds, if not upwards of several hundred over my time. And I'm talking about state troopers, game wardens, doctors, lawyers, teachers, people that really have nothing to gain by sharing that experience, other than ridicule or possibly, losing their job over it. Some will go on record, some will not, understandably, but it